The world did not notice when it happened. There were no fireworks, no thunder cracking across the heavens, no earthquakes to split the ground. It was quieter than that, far quieter, like the faint sound of paper being torn in a locked room, like a whisper that carries through eternity but escapes the ear of the careless. The final seal broke, and time itself shifted. You may think these words are exaggerated, that they are just another sermon, another video, another preacher trying to stir emotions, but you would be mistaken. The moment you clicked here, something inside you stirred. Your soul already knew this was no accident. This message found you because heaven willed it. For centuries, prophets spoke of seals in Revelation, mysteries locked until the appointed hour. Scholars argued, were they symbols? Were they metaphors? Were they warnings for a distant generation yet unborn? But that debate is over. The hour is no longer coming, it has arrived. The seal has been broken, and the shift is already unfolding before your eyes. Do you feel it? Look around. Nations are trembling with confusion. Families fracture under silent resentments. Churches argue endlessly, splitting over shadows while the foundation shakes beneath them. Leaders boast with arrogance, promising safety, but their words feel empty. Every institution that once stood solid now trembles. That is no coincidence. That is no random chaos. It is the sound of heaven's decree advancing, and here is the hidden danger. It did not come with trumpets, so most of the world sleeps through it. The final seal broke like a whisper, and whispers are only heard by those who are awake. This is why you are here, not by chance, not by scrolling aimlessly, but because heaven called you to listen, to open your eyes when others close theirs. This moment demands more than casual curiosity. It demands a choice. Will you wake up? Or will you let the silence lull you deeper into blindness? Understand this. The breaking of the final seal is not just about the world out there, it is about you. It is about your family, your home, your heart. This unveiling presses against your soul like a weight. Every choice you make now carries eternal consequence. Every prayer ignored becomes a crack in the armor. Every distraction becomes a snare, pulling you deeper into the sleep of deception. And while you hesitate, the enemy grows bolder. False teachers rise. Corruption parades itself with pride. Voices that once spoke truth now twist their tongues with lies. The air itself feels heavy, not because of storms in the sky, but because of storms in the spirit. The apocalypse is not waiting for a future calendar date. It has already begun, not with fire consuming cities, but with the slow, deliberate stripping away of illusions. The masks are falling. What is false is being exposed. And the question is not if, the question is where do you stand? Do not dismiss this. Do not say to yourself, I will think on it later. Later will not wait for you. The hour has already turned, the seal is already shattered, and every delay leaves you more unprepared. You may feel a trembling in your spirit even now, a restlessness you cannot explain. That is no accident. That is the Spirit itself whispering, awaken, rise, prepare. Do not ignore it. Do not brush it aside. Heaven has bent time itself so this message would reach you in this moment. And here is the truth. The greatest danger is not war, not famine, not persecution. The greatest danger is spiritual blindness, the refusal to see what God has already placed in front of your eyes. Blindness will not protect you, it will only consume you. But within this warning, there is also mercy. Because if you are hearing this, you still have a chance to awaken, a chance to stand, a chance to endure the shaking and remain unshaken yourself. Do not let this moment pass you by. Do not treat it as another passing word. It is heaven itself speaking directly to you. And if you close your ears, the silence that follows will be unbearable. You have been chosen to hear this. Now you must decide, will you ignore it or will you prepare? If your heart feels the weight of these words, do not remain a silent spectator. Subscribe now, not for me, but for the testimony you carry. Let your name be counted among those who refused to sleep while the seal broke. And if you still resist, then tell me why in the comments below. For the time of excuses is ending, and the time of witness has begun. When a shadow first appears, it does not come with a roar. It slips quietly across the stones, creeping along walls, unnoticed until it has grown too long to ignore. So it has been with Rome. In recent days, whispers have echoed through the halls of the Vatican, decisions that fracture rather than unite, words that bend rather than uphold, gestures that unsettle the faithful rather than strengthen them. Some have celebrated these shifts as progress. Others tremble, sensing that something deeper is at play. But prophecy has no patience for appearances. It pierces through the surface, and what it reveals is this: arrogance parades in the garments of humility, while truth is silenced in the name of tolerance. Do you not see it? The very place once known as a sanctuary of clarity now echoes with confusion. Statements are made today and contradicted tomorrow. Shepherds who once stood like pillars now sway in the wind of political applause. And beneath the gilded ceilings, debates rage that strip the church not of her enemies, but of her own strength. This is not just politics. This is prophecy. The final seal broke, and its tremors reached even the eternal city. For centuries, Rome was seen as the visible anchor of faith in a turbulent world. But now, divisions spread within her walls like cracks across ancient marble. Each crack whispers a question. Who do you truly serve, the Lamb or the applause of the world? The enemy delights in this moment. He does not storm the walls of Rome with fire and swords. He seeps in through the pride of men, through ambition cloaked in humility, through doctrines twisted just enough to confuse even the faithful. The greatest deception is not shouted from rooftops, it is whispered from pulpits. And as Rome shakes, so too does the world. Leaders look to her and see contradiction, and so they justify their own. Families hear silence where clarity should be, and so they choose convenience over conviction. The shadow of confusion that falls over Rome stretches outward, covering nations, seeding doubt, multiplying division. Yet do not mistake this for defeat. No, this is exposure. The broken seal pulls back the veil, revealing what was hidden in plain sight: the arrogance of leaders, the weariness of shepherds, the lukewarm faith of multitudes, all of it brought into the light, and once revealed, it can no longer hide. But hear this carefully. The shaking of Rome is not a signal to despair. It is a summons, a call for every believer to rise above the failings of institutions, to anchor themselves not in the words of men, but in the eternal word that does not change. When the walls tremble, it is to remind you that your faith must be built on the rock, not the scaffolding of human approval. So I ask you again, are you awake, or are you lulled into silence by the shadows? If you cannot see the cracks, then perhaps you have not looked closely enough. And if you refuse to look, perhaps you fear what the truth will reveal. But ignoring the shadows will not banish them. Only light can. And you, chosen for this hour, are called to carry that light. This is why heaven exposes Rome, not to destroy her, but to cleanse her, not to silence her voice, but to purify it. And if her shepherds falter, then it is you, the faithful, who must stand taller, pray harder, and live bolder. Because the apocalypse is not only a prophecy, it is a mirror. It reveals